Today we are going to use patterns to determine a formula of a sequence given by geometric figures. Okay, let's go to our PowerPoint presentation. Assume that the pattern shown by the square tiles in the following figures continue. You have in the first figure, you have 2 tiles. In the second figure, you have 5 tiles. In the third figure, you have 8 tiles, and so on. The first question, what is the nth term formula for the number of tiles in the nth figure of the sequence? Second question, how many tiles are in the 8th figure of the sequence? The third question, which figure will consist of exactly 320 tiles? Okay, let's go to our blackboard. Okay, this was our figure earlier. So let's try to determine some patterns. Okay, notice that in the second figure, you have 2 tiles each in the horizontal section. You have 3 tiles in each of the horizontal section in the third figure. In the fourth figure, you have 4 tiles in each of the horizontal section. And in the last figure, you have 5 tiles in each of the horizontal section. So let's try to write those values. Okay, in the second figure, you have 2 tiles in each of the horizontal section, or we can write it as 2 plus 2, or 2 times 2. In the third figure, you have 3 tiles in each of the horizontal section, or we can write it as 3 plus 3, or 3 times 2. In the fourth figure, you have 4 tiles in each of the horizontal section, or we can write it as 4 plus 4, or 4 times 2. And in the last figure, you have 5 tiles in each of the horizontal section, or we can write it as 5 plus 5, or 5 times 2. Now, in the vertical part, okay, again, let's start with the second figure first. We will go to the first figure later. So in the horizontal part, in A sub 2, you have 1 tile in the vertical section. In the third figure, you have 2 tiles in the vertical section. In the fourth figure, you have 3 tiles in the vertical section. And in the last figure, you have 4 tiles in the vertical section. So again, let's try to write those values down. Okay. So in the second figure, you have 1 tile in the vertical section. In the third figure, you have 2 tiles. Okay. In the fourth figure, you have 3 tiles, and so on. In the last figure, you have 4 tiles. Okay. So those were the values in the second, third, fourth, and fifth figure. Now let's go to our first figure. In the first figure, you have 1 tile in each of the horizontal section, or we can write it as okay, 1 plus 1, or 1 times 2. And then it has no tile in the vertical section. So let's try to determine this pattern. So if we write now the nth term formula, we can write it as A sub n equal to some equation or some formula. So notice that this is 2 times 2, this is 3 times 2, this is 4 times 2, and this is 5 times 2. Notice that 2 is a constant, so we can write here plus 2. And notice that we have here 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's the same with the subscripts 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's the same. So we can write this as n. And here you have 1, 2, 3, 4. notice that this is 1 less than n, or 1 less than the subscript. Okay, so we can write this as n minus 1, because this is 1 less than the subscript. If you have here a subscript n, so 1 less than the subscript is n minus 1. So if you simplify, you have n minus 1 plus 2n, so therefore your a sub n is 3n minus 1. So this is our nth term formula for the number of tiles in the nth figure of the sequence. So that's 3n minus 1. Okay, let's add some tiles or board. Okay, so let's go to our second question. How many tiles are in the 8th figure of the sequence? So we know that our formula was 3n minus 1, so we simply substitute. So we have 3 times 8 minus 1, so therefore the 8th figure has 23 tiles. Okay, let's add some more board for the third question. Which figure will consist of exactly 320 tiles? So again, let's write our formula, which is 3n minus 1. Okay, that was our formula. So again, let's go back to our question. Which figure will consist of exactly 320 tiles? So that would mean 320 is on the left side, and we will solve for n. So you have 320 plus 1, then you divide by 3 both sides. You're going to get 107. Okay, so therefore the 107 figure will consist of exactly 320 tiles.